but will it be enough? Two of the questions human beings are always carrying around inside of us, in fact, these two often haunt us, are, am I good enough? And will I have enough of what I need? Am I good enough? Will I have enough of what I need? In the first reading, the servant is very concerned. There's no way we can feed that many people with this few loaves of bread. Even in the gospel, not even with 200 days' wages could we feed a crowd of this size. It's not enough. We don't have enough. What are we going to do? Anytime we find ourselves in a situation like this, God says something to the effect of, come with me and watch this. There may be an objection. Well, if God always makes sure we have enough, why are people starving to death in the world? Actually, that's our fault, not God's. If people are starving to death, that's our fault, because He has asked us to feed them. Whenever God's servants obey Him, there's always enough. In fact, there's an abundance, plenty left over. So whenever there's not enough, we need to look at us, not God. In this conversation, it might be helpful to consider a couple of things. The first is the law of diminishing returns, and the second is willpower. The law of diminishing returns comes from the field of economics, but it can be applied to daily life. So, if I work so much that I get burned out, I can keep working, but I'm not going to produce results. I won't get the return I need on my investment. Just because I work more doesn't mean I'm going to produce more. At a certain point, it won't be enough. The second example would be, say there's a student in school, and she knows that with 5 hours of study, she can get an A on the test. If she studies for 10 hours, she might be able to bump it up to an A+. What should she do? Take the A. Take the A and run. And use that extra 5 hours for something else, like talking with God or recreating with friends and family, something that's going to keep you strong, because the journey, it's very long. And willpower is not however much we want, whenever we want it, because we want it. Willpower is also limited. We have only enough for what God is asking us to do today. That's it. It runs out. It's like a battery. It gets depleted and has to be recharged frequently. So we need to be wise with what we're doing with our willpower. I know for myself, when I hit a wall, that means I need to take a walk, get some exercise, spend time with people who are encouraging and supportive. Definitely means a good night's sleep is in order. And believe it or not, I have discovered when I go to confession, I have a lot more willpower afterwards. Not before, afterwards. I'm stronger after confession. I can see clearly. I can choose wisely. I'm refueled. This is what God does for His children. The other thing I'm learning is this. At the end of the day, I'll feel exhausted, which, hey, we get it. But then I start to think about tomorrow and the schedule and what I need to do. And I don't feel prepared. And I start to panic. And God needs to remind me, I gave you your daily bread today. You're not ready for tomorrow because tomorrow hasn't come, and I haven't given you tomorrow's daily bread yet. So I can relax, I can go to sleep. Sure enough, when I wake up the next day, I'm ready to meet that day's challenges. Only enough for a day. We depend on God completely. He is our Father. He provides for our needs. But we have to cooperate. We have to trust him. Two things that drain our willpower are coping with fears and trying to impress others. No wonder we're depleted. A note on fears. They found out recently that whenever human beings are worried about something, 90% of the time it's not going to happen. It's great news. It means we get to tell ourselves the next time we're worrying about something, I have a 90% chance that this isn't even going to happen. Yeah, so get on with your life, right? Quit worrying. Do not be afraid. We worry too much and it drains our willpower. And trying to impress others, we all do it. It's a social weakness. We do things because we think we have to, because other people are doing it, because we feel it's expected of us. But how often do we call a time out and talk to the Lord and see if it's something he wants us to do? That's what we should be doing. God, is this even something you want me to do? Because if not, I'm putting it on the shelf and I'm saving my willpower for something else. That's what we should be doing. Then we're strong for what he asks. Then we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and we'll see plenty of fruits. Plenty, because we're being obedient. If we're running out, it's because we're doing the wrong things, which leads to frustration and discouragement. So remember those signs. I'm frustrated. I'm discouraged. Hey, maybe I'm using my willpower for the wrong things. Maybe it's time to talk to God about what I should be doing. Jesus gives bread and fish for the body. And the way he does it is meant to bring them to faith. It's miraculous. There's no human explanation. How can you feed thousands with 5 loaves and 2 fish? Only God can do that. And he did it. And now they have the chance to believe in him. And they're going to need that faith because he's about to give them the central teaching. The teaching that is for the salvation of their souls. Unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you will not have life within you. We're in John chapter 6. And we're going to be here for 5 Sundays. Which, to put that in perspective, if you combine the 4 Gospels, there's a total of 89 chapters. We're going to spend 10% of our calendar Sundays on just 1 chapter. Seems disproportionate. Yep, and rightly so. This is it. Those who eat my flesh and drink my blood will have eternal life. If that's true, what else matters? You know, the chosen can choose to exclude John chapter 6 from their episodes for ecumenical reasons, and that's fine. The Olympics can choose to mock it for unholy reasons, and God have mercy on their souls. But we choose to believe it. Jesus meant what he said, and he meant it literally. The bread that I will give is my flesh for the life of the world. The conversion we're supposed to be experiencing when we come here is that God's love and grace are enough for us. His love and his grace are what we need. Am I good enough? Will I have enough of what I need? God's answer to those 2 questions is the Blessed Sacrament, the Holy Eucharist, his body and his blood given up for us.